Hello and welcome back to my channel, Cards by Melissa Minor. Today I'm going to be using a cut file as a title piece, so I'm going to show you that. This is part of a YouTube sketch hop, so each month on the second Friday of the month, a group of some of my crafty friends, we all get together and we use the same sketch and then a theme. And so this is the sketch that was provided for this month, and then our theme is documenting a special occasion. So be sure to check out the playlist down below in the description box so you can watch all my crafty friends' takes. And we are all so very diverse. We all represent different brands and we all have different styles. And so I really think that you will like watching all of the other crafters' videos. All right, the photos that I'm going to document today are from my cousin's wedding. And this was, let's see, back in 2022. And I had went on a trip with my dad to my cousin's wedding. So here are the three pictures that I have. And I've cut these out. I have two 3x4s. And then actually this other one here that's printed landscape is also 3x4. So the picture on the left is me and my dad, and then the happy couple, my cousin Amy and her husband Logan, are in the center. And then we have this family photo off to the right. So I'm bringing in some paper from my stash that I think I want to use, and this is called Nature's Sweetness specialty paper. This was actually from Stampin' Up. And then this one here, I had this scrap, and this is also from Stampin' Up, and it's Country Woods Wood Grain. Now, there's several of my crafty friends participating in this hop that are Stampin' Up demonstrators. So if you're interested in this paper, be sure to check out their videos with their links. So looking at the sketch, I think this is about how I want my photos to go. And then I also have this strip here, and this is also from the Nature's Sweetness specialty paper. So I think that the gold and the white and then that pretty blue is just really going to look nice for this wedding occasion. So let me measure this really quick just to see how far I want to come down with this before I cut into these papers. And then I will go ahead and then get these papers cut off camera. All right, so I think that's about how I want to do this. So this white paper, I did go ahead and cut this one down, and it is 7.5 by 12. And then my blue piece is about 6 inches wide. And then this piece is 2 by 12, and I'm gonna end up cutting this gold piece down to about 2 and 11.5. Because I do want to dovetail the end on that gold piece, but I want to make sure before I cut this blue piece that I get it about where I want it. So I'm going to take a pencil here and just mark kind of how far I want to come down. And then I want to have a ripped edge because in this sketch, it looked like there was like a notebook edge. So I want to go ahead and tear this. So I want the white core to show. So in order to do that, you will just pull your paper towards you. And I'm not at the best angle here, but I'm going to go ahead and tear this right on that pencil line that I drew. And then I want to do the same thing for the top just to give it that little distressed edge. So I'm going to tear across the top, pulling towards me to expose, excuse me, that white core. And yeah, I think I love this paper. This is really pretty. And then the colors of their wedding were like this deep blue. So you can see the blue in Logan's suit there. And so I think that's going to look really good. So I'm going to go ahead and get these glued down off camera. And then we will come back and look at this. But I do also need to dovetail this gold strip. And so I think I want to cut off about 1/2 inch. Now, when I make my dovetails, I like to kind of fold in the paper, just a little quick fold here, just to find where the center of that is. Now, you can snip right there, but I really wanted this a really shallow edge here, dovetailed edge. So I'm just going to cut up the center just a little bit. And then I'm going to cut in from one side to that cut line. And then I like to flip it over. I think it's easier. And then cut in from the other side just to that cut line. So let me bring this back in, and yeah, that's gonna look really good. I do need to cut a little bit off. So I'm gonna bring in my trimmer here, and I'm gonna cut off about, I believe, 1/2 of an inch will do just fine, because I still want it a long strip, but I just wanted just a little bit more off. All right, so let me bring these all back in and see if this is going to work for the placement of my photos. I still can't get over how much, like, I love that there's already splatter on that specialty paper, that Nature Sweetness paper. That's so pretty. All right, so let me bring these in. Now, I did print this family photo with the white border, and then the other 2 photos, I didn't print them with a border. I do print at home on my PictureMate AS400, and so I did go ahead and mat those on white cardstock. So they're about 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 inside with the border. All right, so that looks good. So I've got that all glued down, and now I want to work with this cut file. So I will show you in just a moment how I backed this cut file, but so I'm kind of going out of order here, but I went ahead and backed this cut file. Now this cut file is from Pear Tree CutFiles, and look how perfect this looks on the page. So I sized it down. I sized the cut file down to 4 inches wide by 3 inches tall. All right, so let me show you real quick how I backed this cut file. And I've sped this up quite a bit because it's not always the most interesting thing to watch someone back a cut file. So this is a very, very small cut file. Like I said, I did size it down to 4 inches wide by 3 inches tall. And the name of this cut file on Pear Tree CutFiles website is called The Happy Couple. So I also belong to their Pearscription, which I get like monthly files, but this is one that I just purchased individually. And they're usually like $1, $2. They're very inexpensive. So while I was talking there, you'll see that I took the inner portion and I just traced it onto my background paper. I flipped it over and traced it onto the paper that I want to use. Now it was kind of hard to see my pencil lines because my paper is so dark. So I do fuss with this for quite a while, just trimming each little bit off to make sure that it's not going to show. And then I'm taking my Artiste craft glue. It has a fine tip applicator, and I am putting some glue on the back, and now I have the letter H in there. And then if there's any pieces that I didn't get just perfect, like I forgot to cut this middle out, then I'm just going to trim around that. So that's one way that you can back a cut file, is just by taking the inner portions and tracing it onto your paper. Now for the next letter, I'm going to show you a different method that may work a little bit easier for you after I finish trimming this down. So another way that you could do this is that you could take the cut file piece and flip it over, and making sure that you're on the back side of your paper, then you're going to just trace the inner portion. Now, when I cut this, I want to make sure that I don't cut exactly on that trace line. I want to go a little bit outside of that so that I have a little bit of a lip to glue that down to the back of my cut file. And see, this one worked a lot better, I think. But there's 2 different methods. You can also use like a mat that has the light behind it. What's that called? A light board. And I do have those too. I just didn't get it out for this time. So here is that other method. And then I went ahead, and as you can see, I went ahead and backed the rest off camera, but I wanted to show you a little footage. So now to bring in some embellishments. So these embellishments are from Simple Stories, and it's from the Remember collection, and these are the floral bits. Now, I did forget to mention that the paper that I used to back the Happy Couple cut file was also from Simple Stories, Remember, and it was actually called the Beautiful Legacy paper. So when I bought this, I didn't buy the entire collection. I bought just a single sheet from scrapbook.com of the Remember Beautiful Legacy paper. And then I bought these floral bits. And the whole reason that I bought the one sheet of paper and these bits is because I thought I was going to use this to document my daughter's winter formal. But then after I got the photos of my daughter's winter formal, I just didn't think that the paper and the floral bits matched. And so I've had this in my collection for quite a while, several months now, just wanting to use it. And when I got out these pictures to document my cousin's wedding, I thought, wow, these are going to be perfect. Like, it looks like I bought the paper for the photos, but I really didn't. This was completely in my stash. Okay, so I built that top embellishment cluster, and off camera, I did bring in some 1mm foam squares from scrapbook.com. That's the thinnest foam that they offer, and I love that, especially for making floral clusters, because it has just a hint of dimension and it doesn't add a lot of bulk to your pages. So I'm also going to build another embellishment cluster over here to the top right of my photo. Now this is where I'm kind of straying a little bit from the sketch, because the sketch did not show an embellishment cluster up here, but I wanted to bring in 3 points. And so I've got my one now in the upper left. I'm drawing your eye across the page to the right of the photo. And then now I have also off camera built another embellishment cluster to the bottom of my photos. So I love the way this is looking. Now I want to add some splatters. So I want to cover up my photos, and I'm bringing in this color splash from Shimmerz, from Shimmerz Paints. And this is called Gold Digger. And if you do not have this, I highly recommend it. It is my favorite for making gold splatters. I mean, once you see this in the end and this dries, it is perfect. And it is so easy to use. So I like to just take this nozzle out and then just pull something from my stash here and tap on the nozzle to give those splatters. So I think that made it look so pretty. I'm going to be real careful to try not to touch it until it dries. And I will go back and add a couple more splatters underneath the title, under the Happy Couple title. So you can see here I did bring in a couple more splatters. Now to finish this off, I'm bringing in these Concord and 9th gold gems. I think these gems are so pretty, and they're really going to bring out the gold from not only my paper, but also those splatters. So I'm going to sprinkle around some of these gold dots. So I will have 3 in the top cluster, 3 over in my cluster on the right, and then I will bring in 3 more for the bottom just to finish that off. So I like to embellish in clusters of 3. And so I think that that's looking really nice. And then the last thing that I have to do is that I'm going to want to journal on this page. So I was trying to think of where I wanted to put the journaling and how I wanted to journal. And so I decided to bring out my laptop, and I brought up a Pages document, or you could call it like a Word document. And I like to bring in a text box. And so I measured the size of the space that I had here, and I'm bringing in a Cricut spatula, and I'm just going to add some glue here. But I ran some vellum through my printer after I had printed out the journaling here, or I got the journaling all picked up on my Pages document and then printed it on this vellum. And so I'm just squeezing a little bit of glue under here, and that'll hold that down. And so I just wrote, introducing Mr. and Mrs. Logan LaBar. My cousin Amy was such a beautiful bride. I love that her and Logan's wedding was a style all their own. Amy and Uncle Mark entered the ceremony by walking through a tall grass field. I enjoyed making the trip to Franklin, Tennessee with my dad and my stepmom, Debbie. And this was from June 11th, 2022. And here's a closer look at the pages. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. I will have some product links listed down below if you're interested. And please be sure to check out the playlist for all my other crafty friends playing along in this YouTube hop. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!